This was the week where former President George W. Bush tried to resuscitate his image once again with a new book, one that is very on brand for him because it is just pictures. In fact, it is a collection of his paintings, a stark reminder for all Americans of what happens when you don't nurture your child's artistic side. War crimes. Just war crimes. Bush is doing his PR push a little differently, though. Take a look at this. He has a new op-ed in the Washington Post. If we can bring that guy up on screen. Yeah. He says, immigration is a defining asset of the United States. Here's how to restore confidence in our system. And then some photos, some paintings that he painted. I feel like that's Madeleine Albright.
It is.
He's not bad.
I guess the thing that makes me the maddest is he's not bad. Like, you don't deserve to ruin that many people's lives and kill that many people and torture that many people and then still be kind of good at painting. That's fucked up.
Right. You can't be good at murder and painting.
Like, Hitler failed at painting, then killed a bunch of people. I'm more comfortable with that. More comfortable with no murders whatsoever. But if I had to choose, I prefer you fail at art first.
Pick a lane. Exactly. So in this op-ed, because I guess he can't just lead with, I'm painting now. Op-ed, painting good, painting fun. Like, he's got to say something else. So what he's saying is that new Americans, quote unquote, and refugees are good. They enrich the country. He comes out in favor of DACA, against border militarization, for speeding up the asylum process, for a pathway to citizenship. And yet at no point in the op-ed does he ever say the 7 words I want to hear, which are, I'm sorry, take me to The Hague. That's it. That's all, buddy. This is a man whose policies led to the Department of Homeland Security, the actual creation of that department, leading to ICE, to border militarization, surveilling and demonizing Muslim immigrants, denying asylum and visas. We can all evolve. I get that. But
in the intro to the book, he should have taken all of that back and then been like, all of the proceeds go to unraveling all of the bullshit that I've done.
Yes.
P.S. I am a murderer. That's the only intro I would have accepted.
Signed murderer. Bush getting woke on immigration, it feels like Barbie getting woke on sexism, bitch, you did this.
Yeah, they're now she has a job. I'm like, shut up. You know how many bulimias you've made? Get out of here.
Totally. So, okay, part of the PR tour with G.W. Bush or W, what are we calling him? He did this interview with Nora O'Donnell on CBS, whose Twitter bio does say wife, mother, et cetera, which is the reason I was bitching about it. We need to watch this interview that he did. Let's play it right now.
You ran as a compassionate conservative.
I did.
Do you believe there are compassionate conservatives today?
Absolutely, I'm one. And I think there are a lot. The problem is, with an angry society, it's hard to punch through with compassion.
Mm-hmm. Is it an angry society, or is it certain leaders and people who've stoked that anger and fear?
I think that's an interesting question. I'm a big leadership guy, and so therefore I think maybe the latter part of your question is true, that people stoke anger in order to advance their apolitical agenda. I do believe there is a more, my dad spoke kinder and gentler, and he truly believed it, and I believed in unifier, not divider, and they just can't be empty slogans. You have to believe it in order to be credible.
Still dumb after all these years.
I'm a big leadership guy.
I'm a unifier, not divider. I believe in a unifier, not divider. I'm also the guy that said you're either with us or against us.
I believe in kindler and a gentler. A kindler and gentler what? I will not say.
He cannot give. He feels a little bit like the worst parts of Trump and the worst parts of Biden, like together, like it's senile and stupid, but he doesn't really stand for anything. I just want to say though, initially there was we slowed him down and like zoomed in on his face because he starts off laughing as an answer to her question, which is, you ran as a compassionate conservative, is the question that Nora asked. Like, didn't you run on to being a compassionate conservative? And he's just like, yes, I did. Like he's laughing.
The laugh of a con man is what that was.
Exactly.
I did lie to you about that one. Oh, you got me. You got me.
Isn't that funny?
I did try to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, that was me. That was me.
Totally. He knows he's full of shit. Like, that's the laugh of someone who's clearly been caught in a lie. And it was like, God damn, I am not compassionate at all. I punched a 12-year-old yesterday for no reason. Just like, oh man.
Look, he also the whole thing about dividing, again, it's like we were talking about earlier, dividing immigrants into like the good kind and the bad kind. They were babies. They didn't know. They can't be held responsible for their evil parents who just wanted a better life for their children. You're right. They are the ones that should be punished.
He's really trying to thread the needle once again and be sort of like the Liz Cheneys, you know, and the Mitt Romney, and like trying to appeal to Republicans. I mean, and I guess he's appealing to conservatives that get the Washington Post, you know, and read it cover to cover, and like then read the Wall Street Journal, and then like, you know, sail on their boat or whatever. Like, I get it is such a small minority of people, and it's empty. It's totally empty coming from this man. But I guess you have to have some sort of gimmick if you want people to buy your coffee table paintings.
I guess. It's also like, I mean, a lot of people I think who are younger don't remember how terrible Bush was. And if like, you know, like I protested pretty hard, you know, the inauguration, all of the shit that followed. Like, I wasn't a citizen yet at that point. I was a resident alien. And when I got arrested at a protest, the cops batoned my backpack with all my, all of my identifying information on me, like my ID, my legal resident alien card, all of that stuff. And I had to reapply. And when
they batoned it, like they ruined it, or they confiscated it.
Oh yeah, they batoned it off of me, took it. And then when I was in jail, I was illegally arrested at a protest. I was in jail. And then afterwards, I was part of a class action lawsuit against the Metropolitan Police Department of DC because I was one of the illegally arrested people. And there was a real chance that because they tried to charge me with a felony for riding inside my jail cell, quote unquote, that I was going to get deported and like to a country that I have no one anymore. Like my family was here. So I very much remember him as a very terrible, evil man. And I don't have these like vibes where people are like, oh, George W. Bush looks good now compared to Trump. I'm like, no, not a lot of people have that illusion who lived through that presidency. And I really resent him trying to draw the line in the sand between the good and the bad immigrants now. And it's like, no, none of the people that are legal immigrants also want people who are legal to suffer or be killed. It's that old like chestnut of like, just because something bad happened to me or it was really hard for me does not mean that I want that for you.
Sure.
Because I'm not a monster. So yeah, anyway.
It's amazing though that we are pining away for, it shows you just how far the Republican Party has gone, that some people are pining away for the George W. Bushes, even though he is obviously did not make good on any of the things he just laid out in that op-ed. His dad might have been better. His dad was actually a little bit better on immigration and asylum than George W. Bush was. But like, again, it just shows you how far we've slipped and fallen. And I too was also arrested during like protesting Bush in the Iraq War. And They made us watch Cheney's speech at the RNC in 2004 and from our jail cell. And we were like, it's the only thing on. And so we watched it. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Bitchuation Room podcast live stream. And while you're here, why don't you just subscribe to this channel? I promise it'll be good.